In this episode, we will explore how to design learning experiences that your learners can complete to effectively learn the principles you want them to learn. In the last module, you determined and described what the learning experiences of your module would be. How are you going to design the learning experiences to make sure they will work? At this point, you may wonder if you can just tell your learners what they need to know about the principles and how to employ them, and leave it up to them to remember that. But that approach has proven to be one of the least effective approaches to teaching. I will walk you through an effective process for designing significant learning experiences. Start with selecting one of the learning experiences that you chose in the last module. First, we must recognize that there are 4 important events that are required to facilitate the best learning experience for your learners. First, preparation. They need to prepare for the experience. This includes what this experience is about, why it needs to be completed at this point in the course, and to have them recall related previously learned principles that they can build on. 2. Presentation. The presentation of new information with lots of examples. This includes what is the principle about, how to employ it effectively, why it is valuable to employ in this context, and it's important to include plenty of examples. The third event, practice with feedback. Practicing employing the principles effectively with lots of feedback. This includes experimenting with the employment of the principles to learn more about how best to employ them in a valuable way. It also includes opportunities for making employment mistakes and correcting those mistakes. And finally, reflecting. Reflecting on why the principles are valuable in this context. This can include what the pros and cons of these principles are, how the principles can be employed even better, how the principles can be employed in other contexts, and what is holding the learners back from employing the principles even more. So to follow these 4 events as outlined, the next thing you need to do is to describe how you will prepare your learners for the learning experience. Next, describe what new information about the principles you will need to present to the learners and how you will present it to them. Then describe how you will provide an opportunity for your learners to practice employing the principles and how they will receive feedback on the success of their employment. Next, describe how you will help your learners to learn why the principles are valuable in this context and other contexts beyond this module. The best learning experiences are interesting, authentic, meaningful, and challenging, yet feasible for the learners to successfully complete, and they typically involve collaborating with other learners. Review the learning experiences of this module and consider how appropriate they are for learning the principles of this module. Can you now design all of the events of a learning experience for any of the principles of the course you are designing? In summary, the 6 principles that you should remember and be able to employ for this presentation are: 1. Preparation and motivation are very important in learning. 2. People learn best from associating new things with things they have previously learned. 3. It is better to take more time and effort to help learners learn the principles correctly the first time than it is to have them to unlearn anything they learned incorrectly. 4th, people find some principles and concepts about those principles easier to learn than others. 5. Timely feedback guiding learners on how they did and how they can improve their employment of principles will enhance the learning experience significantly. And finally, people learn the most from reflecting on their own learning experiences and on the experiences of other people.